Blog Talk Radio. Welcome to the Women Who Rock with Success Show, a digital media for professional and entrepreneurial women. Women are profiled on our digital platforms for branding and networking opportunities. To advertise on one of our shows, just go to our website at www.womenwhorockwithsuccess.com and submit a request on our advertising page. Did you know that we also report stories with top-notch media communications? Editors and reporters can submit credible and validated stories to our media source. Just go to www.topnotchmedia.org. Women Who Rock with Success continues to brand women and their profiles. Women Who Rock with Success is coming soon to Apple TV. You can also find us on Google Play, Roku TV, iHeartRadio, and other digital media sources. The show will begin in a moment with your host, Mrs. Diane Winbush.
Good morning and welcome to Women Who Rock with Success, and thank you for tuning in with us today on the show. And today we are transforming the lives of women for inspiration and empowerment, coaching and training. And we have in the studio with us on the podcast today is none other than Miss Gloria Ward. So welcome to the broadcast.
Hi, Diane. Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited about today. I can't wait.
Okay, perfect, and neither can I. So tell us a little bit about you first before you got started with working with women and what led you up to where you wanted to define purpose for women. Just give us a little background history, about you, perhaps when you was a child or, coming up to be able to let the listeners know what caused you to move from that point to where you are today.
Oh, absolutely. Well, first, I grew up in New York. I grew up in the Bronx. I am the third child of six. I lived with my grandmother all of my life until I moved here to Atlanta. My mom died when I was 7 years old. She died of AIDS, but people didn't know what it was at the time. And being the third child of six, you're kind of the child that gets ignored, right? They forget that you're in the house or they forget, that you're around. So I was always that kid who enjoyed and loved school. So I used to cry that I couldn't go to school. And my family would always tease me all the time because I always felt that school was an outlet for me. It was a place where I could go and I could socialize with other people and I can just get away from my environment at the time, even though I was in the same environment. But I got a chance to be with my friends and, just hang out for a little bit and get away from the stuff that was going on at home. And so when I turned 17, I told my grandmother, I said, you know what, I'm going to go to college. Because I went to a very great high school that always pushed us to be better and to always expect excellence and always, do your best at everything. And that was in Harlem. And so I had the opportunity to go to college here in Atlanta. And as soon as I was accepted to Clark Atlanta University, I jumped at the opportunity. My grandmother was not happy about me leaving to come to Atlanta and to go to college. And I know it was because, I was moving to another state. I was basically going to be by myself. But the big issue is that she really couldn't provide for me. She knew that she could not afford for me to go to college. So with the help of people in school and teachers and everything, I packed up my big one green bag, and I got a Greyhound ticket, and I was on my way to Atlanta. And what I didn't know is once I got to school that you had to actually pay to get in, right? I thought once they send you the paper, you know how you get your acceptance letter, and they give you the paper that says, you've been accepted, and this is where you're going to live, and this is how much it's going to cost, and this is the money that you qualify for. I thought I was okay. right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
Diane, I get on line to register for classes and everything, and I pick all my classes. I pick a major. I decided I was going to do computer science and everything.
Mhm.
And then the
Mhm.
lady says it's going to be $7,346.
Oh.
But wait, it gets worse. It gets worse, right? So I go ahead and I give her the acceptance letter. And I said, well, this is how much money they gave me. And she's like, no, baby, that's not how it works, right? She said, this is what you qualify for, right? This is not what you actually have in the bank. And I was like, okay, well, where is it? She's like, well, you have to wait for the student loans to post and all that. But until then, you know, it's still not enough to cover for your education. So your balance will be $7,000 once all of this stuff is taken care of, right?
Oh, wow.
So I said to myself, I said, okay, so, you know, what is it that I can do? And she said, well, where's your parents? I have to talk to them. And I said, ma'am, I don't have any parents. And so she said, well, who's here with you? I said, I came by myself. She said, well, where are you from? I said, I'm from New York. She said, you came all the way out here by yourself? I said, yes. She was like, well, honey, I don't know what you're going to do because, you know, you have to pay to go to college. And so I go back to the dorm I was staying in. My roommate didn't show up yet, right? And I had to call home, and I told my grandmother, I said, well, they're asking for like over $7,000. And she was like, I told you that you wouldn't be able to go to college. I told you, you know, that you wouldn't be able to do this, but you wanted to go out there on your own, right? She said, so now just, you know, I'll send you some money. You get a bus ticket. You just come home, and you can go to school here. New York has great schools. You can go to the community college. And, Diane, I felt like I wanted that experience from a different world. You know what I'm talking about? I wanted that black college experience. I wanted to be there. I wanted to have a different kind of life because I knew if I was going to go back to New York, I didn't know what life was going to give me, right, and throw at me, right? And so I let a couple of days go by, and it was time to make a decision. They were kicking kids out of school, right? At this point, if you didn't have the money, you had to go home because class was starting.
Okay.
And so I went back to the lady on the line, and so she said, oh, so you have your money? I said, ma'am, I said, I'll tell you this. I said, if you let me in school, I promise you, I will work, I will do anything that I have to do in order to pay you guys back and stay, right? And so she said, honey, I can't do that. I said, ma'am, if I promise you, I will work, I will do anything if you would just let me in school. And so she looked at me, she grabbed my paper, and she said, I'm going to sign this paper, and I'm going to believe what you're saying, right? She said, don't come here next semester and you owe money. Don't come here next semester and make me look like a fool. I'm going to sign it, and I'm going to let you in school, and you have to perform, basically, right? And she allowed me to get in school, and I was able to go to class and go to college, and I kept my word with her. I worked 2-3 jobs. I was able to not only get my bachelor's degree in computer science, but I was also able to get my master's degree in computer science. I became a software engineer early on, and then I decided to step out on my own and actually have my own IT business. I did that for 16 years, and then I got this whole revelation that my life needs more purpose. My life needs more purpose, and with all of the stuff that I was going through throughout my journey, where I was going through divorce, got married, all of these crazy things. I decided to look at myself in the mirror one day and I said, Gloria, what is it that you really want to do? With everything that you've been through and all of the amazing things that happened to you and all of the terrible things that happened to you, what is it that you want to do now in order to really live your purpose? And God told me, I want you to go out and I want you to inspire some people. I want you to inspire some women to love themselves. I want you to tell them the journey that you've been through, not only you surviving, but also what are you doing now in order to practice self-love each and every day. And then that's when I started the I'm Loving Me project, and here I am.
Oh, wow. That is very exceptional. You were able to have a very strong desire to be able to be in education, and then it was fulfilled, for you. And then you went on later to be able to get into computer science and other things. That is so phenomenal, because sometimes we can all start at one position and then something else will come up and say, okay, no, now the gears have to shift in order for this to be able to, open the door for somebody else, because we always work for someone else, right? So we can be able to help other individuals. That is so awesome. So tell us about I'm Loving Me. Tell us about that project, how that got vamped, what's your purpose of it, and what is the takeaways that you want your audience to be able to grab from your project?
The I'm Loving Me project, I started that actually last year. We're 1 year old, and we accomplished so many things within our 1 year of actually being in existence. And the purpose of the project is is to inspire women, 1 million women and more worldwide, to love themselves. And the way that was born was due to me going through a very tough time in my marriage, and also knowing that for myself, I worked and struggled a lot to get to where I am today, but I had so much support, and I had people around me, and I had people that will encourage me to do different things where the struggles that I had, I always was able to have some way to come out of it, because I was, and still am, a professional woman behind a desk, working a great job, doing great things in the community. But Diane, I was sad. I was going home to a place where I didn't want to be. Right? I was struggling. I was struggling with myself as far as my self-worth and what self-love meant to me. So one day I took a look in the mirror and I said, Gloria, you have to get this together. Right?
Okay.
You have to get this together. You have to work on yourself, and you have to start to love yourself more. And so I started reading, and I started, attending seminars and really doing a lot of personal development myself. And then I said, well, how many women out there are just like me, who experience traumatic experiences, who don't know how to come out of those experiences, but are hiding themselves behind this mask, right? Behind this mask, because we have to. We have to work. We have to do all these things. But if you take that mask off, you're angry. You can't get over the past. You're depressed. But you put that mask on every day and you go to work. And so the I'm Loving Me project allows you to address the traumatic experience, allows you to self-heal. We give you the tools to actually self-heal so you can actually thrive in your personal life and in your business. Okay? So that's what the purpose is.
That's exceptional, because a lot of times I have, we have interviewed hundreds of women, and a lot of, even the corporate America women, you listen to their stories, you listen to their heart, and they start, we had one lady on the show, and she worked for yeah, I think it was the NBC Nightly News or something like that. She was like an editor or producer, and I think the jobs kind of hit a little backstand and a bit like a little backslide, what have you, and they downsized, and so she had to be able to create her own brand, because sometimes we may not have something else just to go right back to, even though we may have
Absolutely.
husbands or what have you. And so I just thought that was so remarkable of how she shared that with the listeners. And so that's what we look for. We look for women that may have, gone through some things, and then they have also been able to achieve it through, recreating themselves, reinventing themselves. Sometimes you can't just fall down, and if you fall down, you can't get back up. You got to find something to be able to recreate yourself. So another project. Yeah, go ahead if you wanted to.
No, what I
say
wanted to say about my corporate women, because I was there for many years, right? My corporate women, we have to play the game in order to get to where we need to be. We understand that, right? We have to be able to be exceptional as women of color, as just, women of just around the world, right? But the key to that success, Diane, and that's what I tell all of my corporate women when we do our Girls Leap, the key to success is that you got to know who you are inside. You got to know that. You got to know that, or else they will eat you up, okay? You will start to believe that what's out there is more important than what's inside. Does that make sense?
Exactly. It does.
But when you know who you are, and when you know what you want to accomplish, no one can stop you. No one. They will try. They will try, but they can't, because you know what you're capable of. You know that whatever adversity comes towards you, you would know how to handle it. And then, baby, you got enough self-love in order to stand in your truth and know that anything that comes against me, if anyone says anything about me, if I experience disrespect, disappointment, someone gets the job over me or whatever, I know that I have enough self-love in me in order to be able to continue to do what I'm doing, and I'll get through it. That's
Absolutely.
what it takes.
Absolutely, it works from the inside out, and I totally agree with you, on that, because a lot of times, with women in regards to in the workplace, sometimes if they perhaps maybe get offended or attacked in regards in some in some areas, sometimes women have the tendency to pull back. They don't know how to get back up and keep moving because they're not aware of who they are, and that's important to know who you are. And so when you know who you are, you don't have to stand out in the crowd. They're going to know. The crowd is going to know. You don't have to stand out there to be able to, force them to see you. They will know, because it's very important for the individual as a woman to know exactly who they are, within, and what their purpose is and what they have to be able to, maintain short and long-term goals. So with that being said, the next question we wanted to talk about, and you touched a little bit about it, but we wanted to go a little bit deeper into the upcoming event that you have, and we want you to share with us a little bit about Girls Leap and your workshop that is coming up on January the 15th in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yes, we have a Girls Leap workshop, and that is something that's near and dear to my heart, where, I've been a business owner, like I said, for over 16 years, and I have managed to be successful in my business. And what I do is I actually have workshops and seminars for women who want to take their business to the next level or who want to start a business. So I created this program called Girls Leap, and LEAP stands for Learn, Earn, Advance, and Profit, because there are stages in business that you have to go through. And wherever
Mhm.
you fall on the leap process, we'll be able to, help you get to that next level. So if you're in the
Okay.
learning stages of your business and you are trying to excel, I will give you the
Okay.
tools and the training in order to go ahead and do that. And I'm bringing all of
Mhm.
my great friends with me to help you with marketing, social media, finance, and everything. And then it's going to be here in Atlanta, Georgia, January the 15th. And I hope that your listeners will actually come out and register for it.
Mhm. Mhm. They'll get a chance to get your information before the podcast ends at the end of the show. So hopefully that they will, and of course we'll post this on our social media platforms so they can be able to get the information there as well. Because even when it comes to women, just think about it. Women, it's rarely you see men get out. Like they
Right.
come out with a brunch or maybe like a lunch or something. But it's different when women have to get out to be able to mingle. They have to network because they wear so many hats, and this is just not once a week. This is every day, and so even with that, they have to know their purpose. It's not just about I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom. I can be a stay-at-home mom, and I can be a millionaire behind closed doors, sitting right there behind the desk. And so we have to know as women of where to find our purpose at, how to engage, how to network, where to go and find the resources. No one is going to bring them to me, but I got to go in and find out how to do it. So whatever a field that a woman is in, whether she's at home, whether it's corporate America, where it's something where she's doing in the community, whether she's old or young, I still feel that there is a purpose. The woman have to find her purpose. She have to know where to find it at, and it starts within herself. So yes, I do absolutely agree with that.
You are
So
on
the next
fire, Diane.
so next we want to talk about and for you to share with the listeners in regards to your selfish retreat, because even though these are the cool temperatures right now, but
Mhm.
women still are looking for ways to be able to go out and to still continue to network, but be able to have some leisure time as well. So if you would speak with the women about the selfish retreat, what it's about, what it consists of, and then also when is the next event that you have coming up.
Okay, so the Selfish Retreat is our next level to our mirror workshop that we do. And so our mirror workshop is we did it in Atlanta just recently in October. And the whole purpose of the mirror workshop was to get each and every woman to take a look in the mirror and really take a look at what is it that they see. And some of
Mhm.
the women's stories that we shared was just amazing. We had women who were suffering with the whole idea of losing a child and also
Mhm.
beauty, and it was just a whole array of stuff. But we could not
Mhm.
really unpack what the trauma was. And so
Mhm.
we decided to create a selfish retreat where you come and you actually start to use those tools that we only talked about a little bit in the mirror workshop and really dive
Mhm.
deep into them over a couple of days so that you can walk away with something powerful that you can use every day to really start to change your life. And we wanted to do
Mhm.
that in a setting where the women felt comfortable, they felt safe, they were able
Okay.
to really speak their truth, and they were really able to start that healing process. And
Mhm.
also to be able to do those things and talk about those things that they usually wouldn't even talk about, even with their own family. And
Okay.
so that's what the Selfish Retreat is about. And we are planning to have our first retreat in the springtime. We're just trying to lock down a great location, but I'll definitely keep everyone updated of when we actually get everything locked down and together. But it's going to be an amazing event. We're going to dive into so many things And we want to make sure that we're different, where it's not going to be just a motivational part where you get happy and then you come back home and then you forget everything that you learned, right? Our coaches, and everybody that is there, we have therapists, we have coaches, and we have people who will speak life into you and talk to you and follow up with you, are the people who are going to be there to really help you on your journey. And the people in my community and my project will tell you, I'll send you an email, I'll send you a text, I'll call your phone, and I say, hey, haven't seen you in a while, what's going on with you? You know, and you know, they run from me sometimes, Diane, because I'm very serious and passionate about this thing, right?
Right,
so they say, I'll give you a call. I'll call you back. No. There's something going on. Because, see, what we women do is we take on so much stuff, we always put ourselves last.
Exactly.
Right? We always put ourselves last. So when somebody actually decides to check up on us, we're like, wait a minute. Somebody actually cares about what I'm doing? Somebody actually cares about how I feel? Do I get a chance to go ahead and talk about myself instead of talking about the kids and what they're doing in school and how everything is going and how I'm trying to manage it together? Are you actually going to give me 5 to 10 minutes to talk about my day? Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
So that's coming in the springtime, and I can't wait to announce it. Once we lock down everything, we should be good to go.
Okay, perfect. So, share with the listeners on with some previous workshops and retreats and what have you that you have had to kind of basically get them a little bit more engaged from previous, not what's going to come up in 2020, but what has went in the past. Share with them a few topics of what you have discussed or what some of your coaches have discussed in your breakout sessions to be able to give them a little bit about of what it is that you target for women.
Oh, first, in our mirror workshops, we always talk about the different levels of depression. There are so many women that are depressed these days, but they don't know what kind of depression that they experience, right? There is, you know, there's depression where you need medical attention, and then there's also situational depression, which a lot of women didn't even know that they had or didn't even know that's what they were experiencing, right? So when we let them know that most of the things that you're probably going through is situational depression because of the situation you're in at your job or the situation you're in that relationship that is causing you to act out and causing you not to get out of bed and causing you to, you know, do certain things. Do you know that when you actually overcome that situation, you go back to normal? And they said, for real? Yes, everybody goes through situational depression at some point, right? But you just didn't know what that feeling was. Why can't I get out of bed? And then you got those who need the medication because they really have something. And what we try to tell the women is that when we speak about depression, guys, depression, you can't get over the past. If you're feeling anxiety, you're worried about the future. And they say, no, it's more than that. Think about it. Think about it. If you have that anxiety and you're so worried, most of the time, you're worried about the future, right? If you have that depression, there's something you can't get over. There's something that you can't push past that happened to you in the past, and we need to go ahead and we need to gut that out. We also talk about we also talk about what it means to change your circle and the people around you. And we talk about the different people that are around you. Are you dealing with selfish people? You know, those people that always talk about themselves or find a way to make your problems their problem. You know, it always go back to them. right? We talk about those we talk about those energy vampires. Those people who you just know every time they see you and every time you see them, they're just going to drain you emotionally with all of their stuff to the point where you do your best to avoid them. Right? Wait, when you see them coming, Diane, you just be like, I don't have time today to sit here and deal with this energy. You know, we talk about those realists that think that, you know, those realists that always want to tell you tell them your dreams and you tell them your aspirations, and they always want to bring you back down to earth and say, hey, you know, just keeping it real, you can't do that. You're not smart enough. You're too big, right?
Okay.
And we dig deeper into more stuff. We also talk about health. You know, we also talk about relationships. That's also a big one. And we also get the women to really sit and understand where they are in their life as of right now. And we listen to their stories. We create that safe environment where we listen to their stories, and our therapists and our coaches are always there to help them, give them the tools to start to look at things differently and walk through that. And a big thing that we do is we talk about them ants. Them ants. And ants for us is them automatic negative thoughts.
Okay.
Those automatic negative thoughts that we have in our head. And we call them ants that run around all day and they tell us, you know, we're not good enough, or, you know, we can't do this, we can't do that, and how to manage those ants in our head and get rid of them. So those are just some of the things that we do. And we have fun too. We, you know, we laugh, we eat good, and we just have a whole big sisterhood. But the main thing we do is we start that process of self-healing.
Absolutely. And I thought about something that just came to mind after you had just spoke about sisterhood, you know, because they had a real large movement here in the South, in the state of Tennessee, actually in Memphis. And so this lady, she had it just, you know, just glowed out. And so it would be like, I know, about 60 or 70 vendors, and the women just was impactful and what have you. And so, and of course, she's, you know, no longer doing this, you know, so to speak, but it's very great to kind of get out and engage, get resources, get information, get network, and I'm keep saying that at things because, you know, there's no sense in women is, you know, for as wearing many and several hats, to be able to just, you know, you can get burnt out from just doing day-to-day you know, things over and over and over. You have to have something to be able to feed your mind, to be able to refresh and to be able to water your mind. And so that is just awesome, you know, in transforming, you know, our lives as women. So what are the long-term strategy goals for I'm Loving Me project? What do you want to see with your women and with your brand in the next 5 years?
Oh, you got me smiling, because the biggest thing that I want to see is the women that goes through our programs. They get to turn around, Diane, and they get to help some other women. Let me tell you what our core belief is, and I say this all the time. I say it every chance I get. Our core belief is this: if we can change a woman's mind, we can change a nation. That woman that comes through our programs, that woman that learns how to self-heal, Diane, that woman that learns how to love herself and choose herself first and rearrange her core values, she will pass that on to her husband. She will pass that on to her kids. She will raise a family, and she will change a nation. So that is the long-term strategy. because we don't understand how powerful we are. And I said that this morning to my Facebook group today. You don't understand how you give birth. You give life each and every day. The universe, I call it God, has created you to nurture, to love, to change, and to give life. And it is such an amazing gift that we abuse every day because we so bogged down with making other people happy. If we just take 10% of what we do, Diane, and then invest it in ourselves, can you imagine the movement and the change that will happen? A woman could change a man's mind in a second. A woman can influence her. A woman can influence her kids to be the best that they can be. And she can also change a nation with her love and nurturing. And it's all in us already. You don't have to pay for that, right? That's something you don't have to pay for. But what you do have to do is you have to make sure that you make it a priority.
Absolutely.
You have to make self-love a priority because everything is counting on it. Your family, your business, your relationships, your friendships, everything is counting on that. So that's what we want. That's what we want. When our women turn around and they start to influence nations because they finally figured out how powerful they are.
Wow. That's an impactful statement. So with only about a couple of minutes left, we have had a wonderful time today. Without about a couple of minutes left, share with the listeners how they can find you, how they can be able to follow you, how they can be able to, we're going to share, of course, the information here on the podcast on our other different digital media sources, but share with them how they can be able to find you if it's on Instagram or Facebook or what have you, and then also any books that you have written or what have you, or we've already talked about your upcoming events that is coming up, and also how they can be able to partner with you. You can share that at this time.
Oh, absolutely. Well, you can find our Facebook page, which is our biggest group. We have over 8,000 women there at the I'm Loving Me Project. You can find us, like us, share us, take a look at some of the videos, take a look at some of the women's stories that we have shared already, and just get involved with some of the things that we're doing. You can also find us on Instagram at the I'm Loving Me Project. Same name, and you can also see some of the stories and amazing things that we have going on there. If you want to follow me personally, you can find me on Instagram at GWardATL. That's GWardATL. And then you can actually find me on Facebook, and it's under my maiden name, Gloria Pinckney. I was recently hacked on Facebook, so I had to change everything, but you could definitely find me there. But I encourage everyone to follow the I'm Loving Me Project on our Facebook and our Instagram, and please download our podcast out, and we definitely have many interviews there that you could check out.
Absolutely. We thank you so much for the opportunity to be with us today on Women Who Rock with Success. We loved having you today as our guest, and hopefully we will follow up with you and be able to see what you're doing in 2020. For all upcoming events, just go to our website at www.womenwhorockwithsuccess.com, and you can check out our investigation page on Facebook as well, because Women's are Rock with Success are investigating cases as well to be able to get to the hearts of others and to be able to see what it is that we can be able to make a difference together. So again, thank everyone for tuning in with us today on Women Who Rock with Success. And until next Tuesday, you be encouraged. Thank you, Gloria.
All right, Diane. Thank you for having me.
Rock with Success is a Girls Who Rock with Success and National Extraordinary Professional Women affiliate. Thank you for tuning in with us on today.